Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of We're Screwed. I am your host, horror author James Hershey Jr., and with me, as always, my co-host, Old Boy James Ash, Andy Andrews, and we are joined today by a very special guest, Mr. Tiger Balm. How you doing, brother?
Evening, folks.
What's
Um,
up?
for those that remember the Fate Sworn Dragon show, he is feuding with this gentleman right here, and they have a MMA fight scheduled now. So to start the show off, let's throw over to Mr. Tiger. I can't talk. Mr. Tiger Bomb, and have him tell the audience who he is, a little bit about himself, and basically whatever he wants to say before we get into an interview. Go ahead, brother.
Hi, I'm Tiger Balm. Where do I start? Norse pagan, single father of three, grew up in Flint, moved down to Indiana, spent 4 years as a airborne infantryman. I work out a lot. I do a lot of charity things. I'm a real life superhero. Look up Citizen Tiger if you're ever curious. Been helping the homeless, amongst other things, for quite some time. Walk on water, eat bullets, and shit ice cream.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, I was talking to Old Boy, and he said that you're involved in a lot of the same charities that we do too. Like I do stuff with Wounded Warriors and stuff like that, and he said you guys do events with them, and that's who's doing this one, correct?
Well, the way this the Clash of Fates is set up is the promoter is a charity, the St. Pete Fight Team. They help inner city youth get off the streets and learn, discipline and self defense through 8 different sensei and scholarships that they try to put together and the facilities that they undertake. And as far as the event goes, each fighter is allowed to nominate one or more charities. I am nominating the Valencia Project, which helps veterans and pagans in hard times, whether it be their, power or water bill, groceries, whatever it is. I'm also doing St. Jude Children's Hospital. I've been raising money with them for quite some time. And of course, I just lost my train of thought. The Heroes Alliance, the group that I work with that helps the homeless all over the region. And then there's one to be determined by a special guest that should mess with Dragon's head a little bit, is they have some beef. And then I got a lot of psychological warfare planned for this one. And then he can nominate whoever he likes. And then I've got a bunch of people that are doing random merchandise, whether it be to help them feed their families themselves, or if they want to raise money for whatever charity they'd like to, or just, afford the ticket for the pay-per-view or the trip.
Okay, so this beef with Fate Sworn Dragon, from what I understand, it goes back quite a ways. You guys kind of talk shit back and forth online quite a bit. He is rather outspoken. I'll say that.
Yes.
I met him we did a couple shows with him now, and it was my first time ever seeing him or meeting him or hearing him or anything. And he is rather outspoken, loud, and boisterous. So I imagine the arguments were pretty good. Do you want to kind of get into a little bit of how that all started and kind of the back history of the beef, if it's just like an internet talking shit beef or if it's an actual beef between you guys?
I'd be happy to. Let's start with current and we'll work our way back. So it started we've known each other for a while off and on. And he basically started talking smack. He's the king of Norse talk and all this other stuff. Then he started saying some stuff that was very disrespectful to the ancestors and basically Norse paganism. And for those that don't know, in the lore, there's 2 instances where it would lead to death. I'm not going to take you to that because we live in a modern civilized world. And no, I don't want to kill him. Let me state that now. Basically, at a all thing, a Christian came forward and essentially called Freya a whore, and they home ganged him, which is a trial by combat, usually to the death, or there are more civilized ways of doing it. And then there's the Isle of Thor, which is more entertaining. There were designated places where you could poop on the Isle of Thor. This is documented in history. One man chose to just kind of squat in the bushes, and the caretaker of that island basically killed him for disrespecting Thor and the Isle of Thor, a sacred place. So it's more about the disrespect and needing to be taught a lesson, is where I stand with it. Now, I recently had beef with another individual, and that fight fell through. And when I sat down with my friend that the promotion is going to go at, we realized we could raise low three figures. But with Dragon, when I challenged him, I didn't realize how much heat this man had with a lot of different groups and a lot of different people. And I was like, okay, well, maybe we can squash this in an honorable way. But then I started hearing some of the stories. People he's wronged, people he's hurt. So there's a lot of, and I got a special plan for all those names. People are going to get to see those, and they're going to get their time to shine at the event. But there's part of me wants to do this just for karma. Then there's the disrespect. Now, if we rewind the clock, there was this incident with the pagan empire, kind of cultish. And he was going at him. I was going at him. We were kind of, knuckle bumping cyberly or whatever. But rewind even more to the original beef, where I first encountered him with the nine noble virtues behind him. He was very Norse pagan at the time. That's evolved over time, and I'm not knocking his faith or anything, while he knocks mine and many others. But that's AFA. That is fascist stuff, and that's where it starts with me, whether he realizes his fault or not. And when it comes down to it, since I got custody of my kids, full custody, and all those years of marriage prior to that, I kind of want to see if I still got it in me. There's that whole eye of the tiger thing. I want to see, and while simultaneously, my kids are in full support of this fight. They're 10, 13, and 16. They're actually helping me a bit. So I want them to see this. And, a big part of Norse paganism is, learning the saga. And there really aren't modern saga. And that's part of what I'm trying to create with my life, is something to be remembered by. And I want my kids to see, whether I win or lose, and what the wisdom in that. Maybe they can tell my grandkids and great grandkids about it. And then one thing I always tell a lot of, I don't like to call them followers. I got a lot of friends, a lot of family on TikTok. They're basically witnessing me living and creating my own saga as we do this. And there's a more modern way to do, to settle beefs and stuff like this. And I don't see why it can't help people. There's a lot in this world people are frustrated about. Beefs can be settled. A lot of the old ways can be adapted to the new. And I don't see why, it can't be through hyper violence. What's a little hyper violence between friends? There's a couple guys I've kind of talked to, and I don't know how I ended up in a position of respect or whatever. It kind of knocks me off my feet when people are like, "Hey, can you marry us?" And I'm like, I'm not a Gothi, I'm not a holy man or whatever. I'm just a guy that knows a lot of stuff. But part of me knows that I need to do this for all the reasons I previously listed, but also because people look up to me in that capacity. So it's kind of new in that regard. And I just want to see if I can. I'm 48. I've trained my ass off for all these charity events and stuff. I think I can. That's basically it.
Well, I definitely wish you luck being an old guy myself. We were talking before the show about me dragging a 9-point yesterday up the side of a mountain to get it back to the truck. And I realized very quickly I'm not in the shape I thought I was in. I'm in decent shape. I'm not a big fat guy or nothing like that. You know, I'm in decent shape. I was a fighter for a lot of my life. I've trained, so I'm not like somebody who's drastically out of shape, but I'm nowhere near the fighting shape. And it looks to me, I
Right.
mean, I can see you're a big old swelled up fella. So I know you press some weights. What do you, what disciplines do you study? What's your fighting styles? Are you like a grappler? Are you into jiu-jitsu? Are you a stand-up guy? What do you do?
Yes. All
Yes.
those
Oh,
things. Give you a history. In my family, wrestling was big, and I started wrestling in middle school, all through middle school and high school. And I think it was the summer between freshman and junior year. You got to understand that because of that, my family, my cousin is a year older than I, but we were the same weight class, and I would have to wrestle him just to get to a meet for every single meet. My freshman year, I missed out on a lot, so I went and okay, don't mock me. Okay, you remember the 90s?
oh yeah.
Steven Seagal was big. So a friend of mine got these, I think it was like 8 free sessions when you signed up. So I signed up to learn Aikido, and because Steven Seagal. But there were some very good lessons that I can translate, whether it be better ways to grab a wrist or twist it, or it helps a lot with groundwork locks, but also hand-eye coordination. It's not quite a flow state, but you can kind of slow things down a little bit because it's such a reactive art. Other than that, it's trash. It's total trash. But I do still take a few takeaways from it. While I was in the Army, they have these things. This was before MMA. Boxing was the thing. And every year at Fort Bragg, now Fort Liberty, boxing was the big deal. And every month there would be a boxing smoker. So essentially, if you won your bout, you got a 3D pass or 3-day pass, unless it was mission cycle. So I basically, through slot boxing, got pretty good at it. And then there was a long lull there. I kind of just, I've got a heavy bag I hang from a boxing or a basketball hoop that I have mounted in the ground that I pretty much stay up to date on. But then after the divorce, I wanted to get back into it. I was the king of my own purse strings at that point. And on weekends, I don't have the kids. There's this Sunday open mat at Journey Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Fort Wayne. Great group. I just go out there and do open mat. With my experience in wrestling, one of my old paratrooper buddies and a police officer goes out there. He's actually my fight coach. But I got to pay him $30 a week in steaks. Yeah, that's where we're at. Steak is a form of currency in my life. But we meet out there from time to time. Now he just comes over to my house, or I go to his house, and he pushes my shit in. And, we just go out there, and he kind of instructs me, and I just kind of learn through doing. And that's pretty much my experience. Is I'm all over the place. I can't tell you. I mean, does getting detention and suspended every single year from middle school through high school to the max, and then meet me out behind Burger King and Kmart count?
Oh, it all counts, brother. You know that from boot camp, brother. It all counts.
My father had my father had one rule, and it's the other reason why I picked up Aikido. It's a reactive art, right? He said I could never throw the first punch. So I'd always, what they call, let them, or invite the gift, because they're giving you an appendage. That was the term. I never let them bully me. And you know how it is in school when you're viewed as a higher rung, someone's going to want to climb over you to get to that next one. It was so bad that after I left for the Army, I came back. I think it was my second year. Yeah, I was a PFC. We did pictures for the holidays for my mom. I went and visited my brother at school, and I was going to go visit my old art school teacher, or school art teacher rather. So many people saw that I was back. They thought someone was messing with my brother, and I was there to sort it out. No one messed with my brother his entire school year.
And I'll tell you,
That's kind of the reason I left Flint.
a lot of people shit on Aikido, but it really is a beautiful art. I studied some as well, and you were talking about like inviting the gift. Basically, that for the audience that doesn't know anything about Aikido, when somebody's striking you, their energy's coming towards you, their momentum's coming towards you, so you're going to take that and redirect it. That's what a lot of Aikido is about. It's all circles and redirection. Like Kotegaeshi is like my favorite technique in Aikido. It's a joint manipulation where you're turning the wrist joint against itself and the whole body follows. It's a beautiful, beautiful art. I figured you knew some stuff because, being military, I grew up in the military my whole life, and I've been on bases all over the world. And two things that every base had, well, three things really in my experience that every base has: bowling, some form of martial arts, and a Burger King. So I ate a hell of a lot of Burger King. I'm a damn good bowler, and I studied a lot of different martial arts in my life. You know what I mean? But yeah, Aikido is a glorious art, man. I love Aikido, and I would say, looking at you, I figured you were a wrestler, and I figured that grappling would be your go-to because you're a big guy, so you're not going to be as flexible and as fast. You know what I mean? So getting a hold of somebody, they're going to be in trouble.
I try to stay flexible despite age. I'm pretty happy with my flexibility and core strength and some of the things I can do. Now, I'm not as fast as I'd like to be. I still can't do the peekaboo hop, but I can do the, keep your thumbs at your mouth and do the dips. But I can't do that hop Tyson used to do. And by the way,
neither can he.
I knew as soon as as soon as he didn't have the energy to do those hops, something was wrong because he was doing them in training. Yeah. And then when the fight started, like after the first or second round, there was no more of that lunging hopping that he's famous for, and it just stopped. And we all know he was in the condition to do it.
Yeah, that was heartbreaking to watch, brother. I was a Tyson fan from way. I've watched all of his fights. I loved watching Tyson fight, and I had a feeling when he came out with that knee brace on, I thought, oh shit, he done got a knee injury or something. I found out later that he did have a knee injury, but I think a lot of people are saying that fight was scripted and that it was more of an exhibition than anything else, and they were play acting it. I don't know what the truth is, but I know that it was heartbreaking to watch Tyson like that.
I've seen some slowdown vids where he had the opportunity and he always classically took it, and it looked like he actively stopped and he would bite his gloves to kind of remind himself that I can't be that guy right now. So it's all hyper speculation. So
yeah, I think there's no way that
he couldn't use uppercut.
What's that?
Sorry, guys. He couldn't use an uppercut. He couldn't use uppercut. That was one of the rules. He couldn't use his uppercut. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to.
Is that the contract?
Yeah.
That's what boxing's come to too. So as far as our fight goes, it's going to be knockout, tap out, or pin.
Pin.
That's it.
Like in wrestling?
Yep.
Huh.
Yep.
Interesting.
Well, I'm just throwing it out there. The promoter liked it because we're basing this on a Holmgang. One of the variations of a Holmgang is the 3 shields, so we're having 3 ways to lose, essentially.
Well, I know that you're
technically unconscious as a fourth, I guess.
Well, that would be a knockout, though, wouldn't it? Like
TKO.
Yeah, with your weight and your size and your grappling experience, I would think just grab a hold of a little guy and just lean on him. Because people that don't grapple don't understand how exhausting grappling is. If you're not in ring shape to grapple, in match shape, you're not going to go very long at all grappling, especially with a heavy guy. So literally just leaning on him, he's going to be gassed fairly quickly, I would imagine.
Well, I'm counting on some things that I'm not going to talk about. My coach made me promise not to talk about some of our strategies. He's putting out videos showing some of his training. You know, I'll put out some, and I might put out some misleading. So be warned, Dragon, if you're watching this, it could be a trick. But I'm not gonna comment on that because I don't want to give away the game plan. But yes, you are correct. Bulldozing somebody could very well be a possibility. You know, it's if somebody gets a single or a double leg, it's once they're on the ground, it's just ground and pound at that point.
Yeah, and a lot of people say sprawl, 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 but what they don't understand is if you're in there with a world-class grappler, or even a collegiate level grappler, if you don't know how to sprawl properly, if you haven't trained it for years and know what you're doing, you're not sprawling shit with a good grappler. You're going to try to sprawl and you're going to end up on your back. All right, last question I'm going to ask you before I throw over to one of these gentlemen. The last question. How is your submission game? Because a lot of wrestlers, the reason they went and did the ground and pound was because they didn't know submission. They couldn't choke. They couldn't do joint manipulations. They couldn't do arm bars, those kind of things. Have you trained any submission, or is it literally get on top and beat the daylights out of them?
No, I'm very well versed in submission. That's why the Aikido and the wrestling crossover. One of my favorites is Americana and the many other things. I love I love back mount, be honest. I love just holding them there while they can't do anything. And whether it be a triangle choke or things of that nature, I love choking. I am not into that kink, but I love choking.
2 tips I'll give you from somebody who spent thousands of hours on their back and on the mat. Right? Because I've trained a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. If you're in the mount, don't be afraid to lay on them. Especially with your size, you can smother the hell out of them just with your chest. When you're up over their shoulders and they're trying to hide, just sprawl out on them and lay. And just, they'll smother, they'll fight to get out of that shit. You know what I mean? They hate that. And another thing is if you're on your back and they're on top, they're going to post an arm in order to strike. As soon as they post that arm in order to strike, you hook the opposite leg with your leg around the toe, and you grab that arm and you roll, and they'll go over like that. They cannot stand. So that'll get you off your back, and you can smother them if you're on top. Those are my tips to you, brother. I'm gonna throw over to one of these gentlemen and let them ask you some questions.
Much appreciated.
Good evening, guys, and how you doing, Tiger?
Doing great.
So, pretty much, he was just saying it. I used to, I used to be really fat when I was young, and I got picked on real bad. I was originally from Pennsylvania. I moved out here.
Me too.
And I had to learn how to fight, and then when I did, here in California, I know you know who fights. Yeah, you know Dan Henderson. He's big here. Like that's where he was from, Victorville. So, and that dude could fight, wrestle. He could do. He's one of the most known UFC fighters of all time. He used to come to our school when he was a Greco-Roman wrestler too. But I was more of a street fighter. But I was going to fight King in the Cage. It was a long time ago with Bobby Hoffman. I don't know if you remember that guy. He had a lot of issues with steroids. He was a big dude.
We are going to have to do a whiz quiz for this.
Yeah.
I know I get accused of steroids a lot, so we'll find out.
Oh, bro, I could tell right now. Dude, Bobby was 6'3", 260 pounds. He was huge, bro. And he would go off the handle and like a drop of a dime. And one time, like he was working at the bank where I was at. And he came in, he's messing with my wife. And he was riled up, dude. Like, and I'm like, dude, Bobby, like, calm down, dude. Like, he was on one, bro. He was dead. He was in a lot of trouble. He was in and out, but he fought UFC. He fought Josh Barnett and all them. but he was a big dude. But no, yeah, I know a little bit. I don't need to get into what happened because yeah, Dragon that day said some stuff, and that was before you guys set your fight. Then he was cooler. He said you guys are cool. He has nothing to what I've now. He just really he never says anything other than he has a lot of respect for you. He's like you're one of the only people he respects in the North Pagan community, and I know he's had issues, but there's also other stuff that I know that there's two sides to every story. But I know how Dragon is. He gets riled up on his lives, and but there's always people who come on there and say shit. You've seen that too when you were having your little converse. There was people jumping in. There's a lot of people who've instigated this fight too, and are not sad it's happening because there's people calling you both out, even on the side that they want to fight you, and on other ways and all this crate. Like one guy was calling out Dragon to come fight him to the death with a biker gang or something the other day. I was like, you know what, whatever. But what I've seen, and you seem like a really cool guy. I've never had an issue with you. I mean, I've heard your name, and now it's no one really ever says anything about how you just to promote the fight. Now it's other people and other issues with TikTok, with the, whatever happens in those discords or whatever. That's the new one that's coming around. I bet you've heard that one. But I don't get involved in any of that. That's not my business. But it's good to have you on. One thing I'm going to say, what do you weigh, if you don't mind me asking?
I weighed myself this morning. I'm currently at 222, lucky number, easy to remember. And I am 6 foot even.
Okay, cool. And Dragon's 6'1", 213. I think he said the other day he's weighed himself. So you got a little bit of a weight advantage on him. He's got that because I'm 6 foot tall, 233 pounds, 234. I'm a little bit bigger than both of you guys, and that's what I do. If I actually got in shape, I'd be about 250. I'm gonna start lifting weights and stuff and getting back. My back up for a while, so I've been, and I just got lazy for a while. It happens, but
I get it. The VA told me I would never walk again, and it's hard to bounce back from a back injury specifically. It low, slow, lightweight. Make sure you're eating, and actually, that's kind of how I got the nickname of Tiger Balm. Well, and I tricked a foreman into going into a porta-john with Tiger Balm after he put it on, and he went, to the bathroom, and he came out screaming because he got Tiger Balm all over his junk.
That would have been funny. I would have just laughed.
Oh, the guys were laughing.
But yeah, okay. Then so you guys are going to be fighting at heavyweight. That's what you're basically shooting at. Is that what it's going to be? Yeah. Okay.
Yep. I'm not trying to lean out, but I'll probably lean out. I go for more of an athlete at all times. Look at my charity stuff. I've developed my tendons to be pretty ridiculous. So that's also why I get into the choke game, as we talked about earlier. It's a lot of core strength and low back to, curl your truck for distance or tug of war it or row it or push it. Because your back has to be pretty rigid in order to do it. But when you get into your back, don't be afraid to do things that get your white cell blood count, like drinking hot chocolate, stuff like that. But it's more about, it sucks the first, 3-4 times if you're going once a week for back core stuff or however frequently you do it. Focus on just getting through it, whether it's hot bath and a rice sock. That's been a lifesaver for me. But it might be from biomechanical issues like your gait, if you got a little bit of a limp or if you're taking a bigger stride on one side than the other. It can lead to God's cruel joke flaring up on you, and that's the sciatic nerve. And I hate the sciatic nerve. Luckily, I haven't had any flare-ups in years because I've learned to strengthen the area and to listen to my body when I train. And I'm not beyond, by the way, kidney shots, liver shots, sciatic shots. Those are fun. Because all that is a big piece of muscle at the top of your butt that has a nerve going through it. And it's one of the only spots that do it. So if it swells up, then you start having back spasms. So are you having spasms?
No, I have sciatica. I have scoliosis right here. It curves on the bottom. And my wife's a massage therapist, so she'll work with it.
Lucky.
But yeah, I hurt all the time, bro. It's been just the way it is. What it is. I'm just a tough son of a bitch, bro. I used to be 300 pounds and I almost died from diabetes. And I actually never went on metformin. And I just quit eating a lot of sugar and changed my whole life. I don't
Dude,
have
it's so
diabetes
heavy in
anymore.
the American diet. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I home cook a lot of my stuff, from my boys' autism, both of them, but also so I can control my sugar. Like I'll spike my sugar before I go to the gym, so that I've got that much more, glycogen in my blood to do what I need to do. But the rest of the day, I'm trying to manage it because I'm worried, the amount of sugar in everything, even coffee creamer.
Yeah, you just gotta measure. Like, I'll be honest with you, I maybe eat 20 grams of sugar a day, maybe. That's how I've got I used to be like 200 or 300, and I was just fat. We were doing ghost event when I was doing Tales from the Abyss. I met my wife, and my wife's one hell of a cook, and I just was eating all the time, and I got 300 pounds, and I almost died because I almost beat up my roommate. He got smart with my wife and made a big mistake. Then you don't do that, and he doesn't live here no more. But yeah, he learned that day. But I got so pissed off that I didn't realize I had diabetes, and I went into like diabetic shock almost. So I ended up going to the hospital. Oh, by the way, you're diabetic. And I've probably been for like 10 years. I didn't even know when I was in my early 40s. And now I'm in better shape than I was then. But no, I'm glad you came on the show. I'm glad. I'm going to have Andy talk to you in a minute. Pretty much James is the one that usually does the beginning of everything. He gets everything on there and he just goes. He's a big dude. He's a black belt. He's 6'5". He's around 290. He's a big dude, bro. Like,
That's some reach.
yeah, he's a big motherfucker, and like he's a mountain boy in Virginia, so he knows what you're talking about because he's told me stories of what he's done. Andy too. Randy grew up with him in Virginia, but see, Andy's more of a Corey Feldman fan. He's always has, so he's always been in like this. He loves Corey Feldman. He played drums, so he wants to be in a band with him. So, and I'm being an asshole right now.
I secretly follow that stuff and the guitar solos and
Hey, Andy loves that guy, man. I mean, he absolutely loves that guy, and I'm just giving.
Maybe you guys could restart the Frog Brothers, man.
Yeah, there you go. Go ahead, Andy. I'll let you go. I was messing with him. He hates Corey Feldman. That's why I did it. But thank you, Tiger, for coming on. I appreciate you, brother.
Anytime.
Hey, you double click the button, dumbass. You're muted.
Oh, that's because I hit it twice. So I said the first thing I would have to say is I would probably check out social media on a certain person, below me right here on my screen, and we'll see who's got a picture with Corey Feldman and who doesn't. We'll just leave it at that, But yeah, Tiger, thanks for coming, man, and thank you for your service, definitely. So yeah, this seems to be like something that's getting a lot of hype, and I guess my first thing would be to ask, what else do you guys have planned? Like, do you have other fights before you guys that are going to happen, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, this being the first year, it's a bit for the promotion to do, Deathmatch 5000 TikTok edition, like everybody seems to want to jump on. They have, I believe they're going to have 4 other fights, all locals for the undercard. We're like the circus attraction, as it were, because at the end of the day, they're a nonprofit. My friend Impact, who's also a real life superhero down there at the Bay Coast Guardians down in Tampa, in that area, he needs a hand, and I can't help myself when it comes to charity. I don't know if it's the ancestors or Frith or whatever, but there's a time, rhyme, and reason that I find a pace to it. But when it comes to the undercard this year, it's only going to be 4 fights. Now, depending on how it goes, we could be adding 2 or 3 fights next year. This could be an annual thing. And, I don't know if I'm going to have it in me at 49 next year. But I should. I hope so. but we'll find out with this fight. So regardless, I'm hoping it turns into a thing, regardless if I'm with it or not. I might actually, there's a belt I have hanging on my wall that's for St. Jude. I might actually introduce that next year, since St. Jude stopped doing their fundraising program, their St. Jude Heroes. But there's going to be, we also have to judge on how things are going after the hurricane, because I'll be doing a mini fundraiser to help them get new mats to fix everything after the hurricane. And they might be losing a sensei. They were hit, the southern Florida was hit kind of hard. But they're looking at 3 or 4 fights. I know 3 of them are locked in. We're waiting on the 4th. It might grow next year. We might need a bigger facility. That's part 2 of this, is their facility can only hold 100 people, and I'll be inviting a lot of influencers to be there in person. I've got to be selective with it, however. We'll be auctioning off some of the tickets, of course, going to the charity. We'll probably do some giveaways for it too, pay-per-view. We're still trying to figure out the bugs, because, we don't want to go too big. This is their first attempt. We're still trying to figure out the pay-per-view aspect of it. We don't want to bite off more than we can do. So, if anyone out there has their deathmatch 5,000 TikTok, whatever platform beef they want to bring to the match, we were hoping to give them a place to do that. We'll have to be selective with it. But let us work out the bugs this year, and we'll do more.
That's awesome. Yeah. You don't want to start out with the best year and then have to try to follow that up.
Right. We don't want to come out with this big event and then, like the Tyson fight.
Exactly. That's what I was getting ready to say.
Time out.
And as you saw, if you were trying to watch that on Netflix, I think that they fired up more people over the fact of trying to watch it than they did the actual fight,
Oh, it's the first fight I got my girlfriend to ever watch. She's like, "Do you want to watch it? I know you're a big Tyson fan." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And then it timed out. And she's like, "Yeah, let's go to bed."
Yeah, it's funny because I was upstairs in my living room, and my youngest son, he has a small apartment in the basement, and him and my oldest were down there watching it down there, and I was watching it up here, and we were about 10 minutes apart. So they knew who had already won and everything before I did. And
that's not right.
I'm like, no, don't tell me, but and he didn't. But yeah, it's cool. And also talking about charity events, I might have to get with you on something. We do a charity event for wounded warriors here in Gettysburg. It's pretty big.
Okay, so I am in fight camp until Memorial Day, and I still do my charity, what I've always called a mini fight camp. And those that have known me since I've been on TikTok for 4 years, it didn't start out basically nothing but a chain of fight camps. But I go into every charity event that I do about every 6 to 8 weeks, depending with the organizations that I'm working with, are basically mini fight camps nonstop year round. So for this fight camp, I'm doing normal fight camp plus whatever. So right now, I'm doing an event where I'm going to tug of war my truck with a tow strap, 1 foot for every care pack that we put together for the homeless. We're hoping to put together 300. I got a wish list in my bio on TikTok. And the team and I will go hand those out in Kokomo, Indiana, December 14th. So that's just an example of one. So if we want to do something and I'd be happy to help you, because I know Heathen Holidays is next, and I might have one with the Valencia Project simultaneously. So we could probably do one in January. And I love challenges like this. So
this one is actually in July every year. We usually fill. Last year we had,
excuse me,
200.
Sorry,
last year we had close to 200 vendors, I guess. We packed 2 hotels full. It is based a little bit around paranormal stuff, so we have some of the bigger paranormal names there. But all the charity goes to children's cancer research and the Wounded Warriors. But what the crazy thing is you're talking about, superheroes. We have a guy that does Batman. His wife does, I think, Wonder Woman now, but he has a full-sized Batmobile, like the newer version. And these kids love this, man. When they come in, we auction off.
I would too.
Yeah, they auction off like a ride in it, and you should see. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. But this guy, he does that all over the place, which is really phenomenal. And he worked a lot with kids' cancer stuff, especially ones, unfortunately, that are not going to make it. He makes sure that they go out in style and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll have to get with you on that, because it's a really cool event. And man, they would love to see something about, something when it comes. Last year we had, or this past July, was professional wrestling. We had a ring put in. They had Gene Snitsky. I don't know if you guys know that name. These two down below are both big
That sounds familiar.
guys. Yeah, but Gene's a good friend. He lives real close up here. I'm around him quite a bit, actually, and he's now back in the circuit, so we'll see what happens. But he's a little bit older than us, and still, man, just a monster. And he's the one, man, what was his catchphrase? What is it? It wasn't me, or something like that. But he's famous for kicking a baby doll across the ring or something like that one time, making it look like a real baby, I guess, but not my fault. That's what it is. Not my fault. That's what he says all the time. Not my fault. But that's cool, man, that you get to do what you love, as in fighting and stuff like that and training. And then on top of that, you're doing it for a charity. And, the homeless, that's, that's pretty near and dear to me and a couple friends that actually my company I work for. They do a lot of work for the New Orleans people down there that are homeless, because our corporate's right outside of NOLA. And I get to go down there. If you guys need
some socks, we're partnered with Bombas. And they send us 5,000 pairs of socks. And we have to make sure they're good stewards. But we tend to hand out about 1,500 pairs of socks to good stewards. And I've got a Gen Xer up in Gen X Dad up in Washington. He's on TikTok. And then a couple reservations where we're going to be spreading them around.
Sweet.
But hit me up. We might be able to get you some socks.
Definitely do that.
And if we can ramp up the soap, I might be able to get you some soap too, because there's this. I'll be becoming a sales rep for them. Well, not a rep, but I get a little thing, and I get a $1 every bar of soap we sell. But for have you ever seen them do the big rectangles of soap?
Yeah.
There's this thing with the Church of Fuckery where you get a soap named after you, but Mama Nightshade liked my idea. So now it's kind of taken on a life of its own. So whenever you make soap, they cut those, which is like an ASMR in its own right. But there's these little pieces at the end that normally get discarded. So you cut those in half and you get 4 bars of hotel soap, essentially. So their waste now goes to the homeless and it goes into our care packs. And they helped us get, well, if we get it this year, we'll hit 1,500 care packs this year. Last year we did 1,000.
Nice.
So
yeah, this past year was our biggest year. It was almost close to 30 couple thousand is what we raised. And this is after, obviously, they take some expense off the top and, things that some of those guys, they want a room and, we hook them up. But a lot of those guys travel to Gettysburg for free, and they volunteer and they donate their time when they could be somewhere, making $1,500 a day, just sitting at a table, smiling, taking selfies and stuff like that. So it's a really good event. It is, man. It always goes well. But I guess going back to the fight, my next question, and I'm going to make this my last one. I've met him one time briefly, Dragon, and he looks like he's a little smaller. But I guess what my question is, if you get in there and you know that you could take him down and end the fight quickly, are you going to do that, or would you rather have a little bit of time to make him feel it? I guess is what my question is.
I got you for 3 minutes of playtime, to quote Randy Savage. I'm actually asking myself that question. I don't want to be cocky. Anybody can get lucky. For all I know, I could, not drink enough water, get a calf cramp or something, and I get speared for all I know. So I will say I will not try for first round. He strikes me as a person that cannot manage his adrenaline well. He'll probably gas out. But if I keep seeing him drinking as much as he does in his lives still, he's going to either end up with rhabdo or he's going to tank himself by the time. I don't know if he'll make it past round 3. I would like to make it past round 3, but he's got to get there.
And how many rounds do you guys have sanctioned right now?
8.
Good Lord. Woo. I know I couldn't make it past 1, but unless it was against Old Boy, but that wouldn't last very long. So I'd take it.
I don't run
I
every
knock
day.
your ass out.
I might just try and gas him out.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a lot of people present that want to see him suffer. I will say
That's
that.
what I've kind of catching along while you were saying that, but
Remember I said
rushes the ring. You know what I'm saying?
No, because of some other things, we're going to have security. We're going to have to pay for security. I wanted to avoid that so that we had more money for the charity. But for various reasons, that's also why I'm being very selective with who I invite, because I have a relationship with them, and I'd be like,
Right.
Look, I know you guys have beef. And if you want to come up to the barricade or whatever and scream and point and flick him off, that's fine.
Right.
But that's as close as you're going to get. Because after this is said and done, it's Florida state law. We got to hop in the back of an ambulance and go get checked out.
Yeah.
Whatever happens after that,
Right.
I have no control over it. But
You ever thought? So we use, and it might be different in different states, but we actually have a little bit of security when we do things, and it's retired military or police or like some of the National Guardsmen and stuff came this past year. And but I don't know if you guys need actual licensed security or
we're
what it
required
is.
to approach the sheriff's department and the police department, and they have to provide, just like we're going to have EMS on site.
Right.
And I will say this, Norse paganism has a metric fuck ton of veterans. I will say that. And I've had many volunteers. I have a lot of people like, yeah, carry. I'm armed, concealed carry. I just hope that egos don't get the better of anybody.
Yeah, right. Understand.
We want this to be a safe, fun event. My kids are going to be there. I don't want shit popping off. So I'm trying to approach this in a different way. Now, there are going to be some locals that are going to be present as well.
Good deal.
Not just a bunch of influencers. But, Dragon's family's going to be there. I wouldn't want someone to be, I'm going to showmanship it up a little bit. Don't get me wrong. But, I'm just going to be the real me and do my thing, because I know as soon as a bell rings, I'm in the zone. That's another thing he's probably going to struggle with is, hey, you're in a ring and there's like 100 people watching you.
Right.
Now what? If they start laughing at you, does that make you hesitate? Are you gonna flinch? What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
He's not a company. I don't think he's very prepared for that.
Yeah, he doesn't. What I've watched on TikTok, it's easy for people to just hit that, end button and you're done. But in front of all them people and stuff, he's not going to be able to make excuses or you either. You know what I'm saying? When the time comes, right. That's something. When I played, college ball, it was like,
And
You
if he's
know.
never done this, I'm going to give him a tip, and that's make sure you have a good corner man, that he keeps your compressors cold, and you might as well get used to slapping some Vaseline on your face now, because it can be a little off-putting, so you don't itch with your glove or whatever,
Right.
and put it in your eye. I will
Well,
give him
man,
that tip.
good luck to both of you. And I definitely, man, think it's an awesome thing to do. And this is a good way to stop, to get the beef over with and raise money for a good charity.
Right. I wish him luck. I won't give him it.
All right, I'm going to put everybody on the spot. This is the uncomfortable
All right.
part of the show. We've met Dragon. We've met you. Had multiple conversations with him, like for a long, long time. Had this conversation with you. So here's the question, and this isn't really putting you on the spot, Tiger. You're kind of in the clear on this one. You don't have to worry about it, other than what we're going to say. Who you got? That's my question to both of you. Who you got? And I'll even go first on it. I'll be the one to put myself out there first on this question. I got Tiger in this fight, and I'll tell you why. Dragon, according to him, is like a street fighter, all this kind of stuff. He's never fought a tournament. He's never fought in a ring. He has no experience like that. He's going to gas quick. He doesn't know anything about pacing. He runs on adrenaline and emotion. That's going to get him in a lot of trouble. Two, if he's a grappler, even a high school level wrestler gets a hold of somebody who's not a grappler, they're going to have a hard time getting away. With that size, that weight, he's going to gas him even quicker. And Dragon drinks all the time. So he's not going to be in very good cardiovascular shape, you know what I mean, or pulmonary shape. He's going to be, I think he's going to be hurting. It's going to be entertaining, and I could be completely wrong. He might catch Tiger with a lucky shot and take him down right away. That dude might have a glass jaw. He might be built like a brick shithouse, but his glass jaw might give him away. We don't know. You know what I mean? But I'm going to pick Tiger in this fight. Whoever wants it can take it now.
You want me to? Okay, gotcha. I agree. I think Tiger is too, and I base that on skill. You know what I'm saying? Listening to both of them talk. Ain't nothing against Dragon. Don't get me wrong. Like you said, anytime, any day it could happen. But you listen to both people talk, and you see where the experience is, see who's taking it pretty seriously. You know what I mean? Especially to just give a good show, if nothing else. And yeah, I think with the background is what I would go with, along with what you said, James. I picked Tiger myself. Next.
You got to do this, don't you? Because I helped Dragon. Here's something you all should know. Dragon isn't drinking every day. He only drinks one time now. He's been training 6 days a week. I do know this. I will tell you this right now. Dragon also went to jail for, at one time. And that's why if you ever, I saw your video today making fun of his eye. So yeah, but you also know that there's reasons for that, but that's why I'm not going to bring up. But here's the only thing I'm going to say right now. I'll be straight up. Tiger would beat him. 8 months, 7 months. I've seen it. Like I said, the only thing I'm going to say right now is, look, we'll see. I don't know. I haven't watched your video. I've seen you work. I know you can work out, bro. I've seen that. I got to see some of your video too. I can't get the Dragons. But right now, yeah, bro. I love you, Dragon. But I'm just being honest, because you're in better shape right now. 7 months, we'll see. At least the one thing I'll give him is he's taking a fight. A lot of people can't say shit about it. You guys are doing something. I don't care what anybody says. You guys are taking this fight. So it shows you that you're both not cowards, and you guys are not going to talk. Because I know the other fight, somebody bailed out on you. So yeah, I know about that. We'll see. I'm interested to see what's going to happen in 7 months. If Dragon, he did quit smoking. I know that for the last couple of weeks. That's the big thing. The drinking, yeah, once a week. But yeah, if he quits that, and he's supposed to in December 1st, and he goes 7 months, we'll see. Win or lose, you both are going to become, my opinion is, legends on TikTok from the pagan world, and people like me are going to. You guys are honoring our people. It doesn't matter, pagan, fate, which is whatever you believe, you're honoring our people. That's all I'm going to say. Win or lose, I don't care. You both got balls, and you both are going to do something a lot of people are talking about doing and they're not. And whatever happens, and this said, I will tell you this, Dragon, he knows people too, bro. So like I said, that's here and there. That whole getting people to do this and that, who cares? You know what's going to probably nothing. But you guys are going to really fight. That's what's really going to happen, and I'm interested to see what happens. I don't know, bro. I'm 50-50 on it. I'm sorry. I don't, and that's only because I don't know your training thing. I'd have to watch you, then I could say, oh yeah, Dragon's, he's gonna lose. But I'm going 50-50. But like I said, right now, no, you'd win. That's just the truth. You're just, look at you, bro. You're like still, the only thing is Dragon's only 39. That's where I'm going.
He's younger.
That's where he has that's where I kind of like, when you get in your late 40s, you get longer in those rounds, it could go the other way. And that's why I said, and that's why I'm not saying nothing with Dragon. I've seen his stance, but he can kick. That's one thing I have seen, and that's something he's going to have to see if he's going to be able. But if he gets on the ground, bro, you're going to win. And I'm going to already tell you that. That's one thing I will say. I could already tell you, Dragon doesn't want you to get him on the ground, because you're going to win. Don't matter 7 months or whatever, you're going to win. And that I think he wants to do standing with you in the first round. He said that, I don't know if you saw that, the last video, he wants to do standing with you for the first round. And and that's what he said. So that's on him. We'll see what happens. I'm very interested. And if it goes on pay-per-view, of course I'll pay for it. I could do security, guys. I have my license for gun and everything. Who I am. It's only in Florida. So it's on what, May 26th? Is that when it is, or 27th?
The Saturday of Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, I think it's like the 27, 20, it's somewhere around there, but it's in Florida, right? Florida, St. Yeah.
Yep, St. Pete.
Yeah, cool. So who else is fighting on that? Did you find out yet?
There are names. I don't
You don't
pay
know.
much attention to them. No, I don't.
I was gonna
I've
say,
never heard of
anybody we know.
It's like the equivalent of some of the cops going at it at where
okay.
I go. You know,
Okay,
they're,
cool.
they're local guys. He really wants to get a female fight going too, but they don't really have that much interest in it.
I get it.
But
I get it.
I appreciate the votes of confidence. I try not to let it go to my head. When it comes to this fight, I see a lot of potential in him. I try to look for the best in people, and I look at their potential. He has a lot of potential for improvement. But my intel tells me he did a live recently where he drank an entire thing of whiskey, like a whole gallon in that live. I'm worried about rhabdo. So if he quit smoking, that's great. I want him to bring his best. I want him to experience that, what I try to put myself through every year. And that's, the journey. There's a journey in every fight camp. There's a lot of reflection, a lot of other things that come from it, but we are doing this for our prospective pagan camps, but we're hoping that it can be an outlet for a safe way to settle these things, because we really don't have that in modern American culture. We really don't. Another fun fact is I've intentionally set this up so that Norse paganism will get some representation, not just because I'm in it, but we're going to have it blessed by a Gothi instead of a Catholic priest or whatever. I can't tell you how many gyms I went in and I freaked out because I'm like, the priest didn't come in and bless me. Why am I being charged for the priest? Oh, he blessed the whole event. So, how they get you with locker fees and doctor fees and priest fees but I hope he brings his best, because that's what I'm expecting.
If nothing else, brother, if this gets him to quit smoking and quit drinking, that's a win. Even if he gets his ass whipped, that's a win.
If you notice, his behavior has changed quite a bit because of this.
And I like Dragon. I had nothing against Dragon. I mean, I had a conversation, two conversations actually, with a gentleman, and I liked him. I thought he was a perfectly fine guy. I mean, he has like a character, I think, and this is my own opinion. I might be completely full of shit, but in my view, he has like a character he plays on the internet where he's loud and boisterous and a shit talker. And then once you get past that nonsense and get to the real man, like we had like I don't think like an hour and a half, hour and 40-minute conversation with him the first time, and we started off with all that loud, boisterous, braggadocious bullshit. But once we broke through all of that and got to the man and actually talked to him, he's introspective and he was a good guy, And so it's nothing personal. I was a scientist before I started writing books and doing all that. I'm a scientist. So it's all based on data for me. Old boy talks about he can kick. He relies on his kick a lot. He's a kicker, right? If your kicker goes up against a grappler, what happens when you throw that leg up? You only got a single leg there. You shoot, you take him down, he's done. You know what I mean? It plays right into your hands. He's talking about he wants to stand up the first round. Why would he want to stand up the first round? Because he knows he can't fight down on the ground. So that's another data point against him. It's just all data to me. I like both of you. I've enjoyed talking to you. I think you're a good dude, and I liked him as well.
I worry about knees.
Yours or his?
His. Not that I've seen him use it, but anyone that throws kicks and says they know Muay Thai, I'm wary of knees.
Yeah, but I've
caught a knee to the chin a few times.
They don't really train on a shoot, though, throwing those knees on a shoot. They're more in a clinch, kneeing up to the side and stuff. So the thing with a shoot, if you do it well, right, is it's quick. It's instant almost. And it's usually a strike. It's a counter. People don't shoot proactively. It's a counter to a strike. So if he's throwing out a punch or he's throwing a kick, as soon as that motion starts, you go in for the shot. Your head is down. So if he does hit you, he's catching you here. Right. He's not going to catch you on your button where he's going to knock your ass out. You're shooting like this. So your head is down, and it's so fast, if you know what you're doing to take somebody down, it's very hard to react to that. Because your reaction.
It's fun having my knees readjust to that slide when you go in and you grab and you pull the leg in, but you know how you slide on one knee? Mm-hmm. It's fun getting my knees to readjust that after my time as a paratrooper. Ugh.
Yeah, I imagine that jacked your legs up pretty good.
Oh, yeah. I got an ACL replacement. I'm always wary of it, but then, I go and do stuff like squat 800 pounds on the hack squat. Hell, I did a deadlift this morning with 445 pounds.
Goodness.
On a trap bar.
I'm always fascinated by that stuff.
I've outgrown my gym in a lot of ways. I have to go get the 100-pound plates to put on the trap bar because I can't fit any more 45s. That's where I'm at with it. Because of managing my time with my kids, because I work out before they wake up and I work out after they go to bed, because I get in 2-a-days right now. So I got to find ways to do it quicker. So I'm using a lot of cables. So like the cable machine only goes up to 400 pounds if I bench press on the cable machine. So I'm adjusting and trying to adapt. But that's been part of these little mini fight camps every year up until now, to the point where I might have to go take like a day where I don't have the kids to go find a gym, like a strongman gym where they got like crazy Atlas stones and stuff. I've got a tractor tire out back. I'm going to take some of the methodology of, oh my goodness, I had his name just a second ago. He was known as one of the heaviest hitters, if not the heaviest hitters. And he used to do nothing but chop wood and bale hay. Muhammad Ali hated him. I'll have to Google it when we're done.
Was it a boxer?
Get back to yeah. Oh yeah. But that's one of the reasons during the pandemic I got a tractor tire and I use one of my sledgehammers because I'm a mason by trade, and I have tons
Foreman?
of. No. Older than that. Not Carver. It's not Carver. What is it? I can't remember right now. I used to know it by heart.
I think I know who you're talking about. They said I saw something about him. He's the one that could hit you and you didn't feel it. That's how hard he hit. Like that's what they were talking. It wasn't Foreman. It was Muhammad beat him, but they said when he hit you, it felt like you didn't know because he just so.
He would just try and punch. He'd punch through your guard and it made your arms hurt. And yeah, I can't remember his name now. I'm such a jackass for that. But no, I've got tractor tires out back to flip for when, and I get to take my roofing harness for when I'm up in a lift and hook it to the sled. And we're supposed to get our first snow tonight, and I'm hoping we get enough to where I can tug the kids around in the sled. So I love doing crazy stuff like that.
Now you don't lift
But
heavy and
that's so
stuff like that before a fight, right? Like probably like several weeks before you go light.
I'll probably back off about 2-3 weeks. We'll go lighter and just go for rep. But I feel out of sorts if I don't work out every day. I don't know if it's the serotonin, like a mental health thing, but even if I just go in and do like a light run, just do some road work equivalent indoors, and just keep it light. But no, I will. Like I when I go do like any of these charity events that I do, I work out that morning no matter what, and then I go do that. I've gotten used to embracing that army saying of embrace the suck. I've gotten so used to embracing the suck that that's my normal. So when I do these things, realize that, like last year when I did Heathen Holidays, I may have got tricked to tug-of-warring my truck for 2 fucking miles. And my hands were killing me. I sprained like these 2 fingers on both hands. But I got it done. But I worked out and I did arms that morning. And when you're tug-of-warring, that's mostly arms. But you got some back involved and you got to brace your core and, you pump your legs a little bit. But I am used to doing obscene shit and then working out that morning. I won't do my evening workout that night. Like when I do this thing for, I'll count whatever it is. I call them stupid human tricks. So if I do a stupid human trick, I'm not working out that night, but I'm still going in the morning. I'm doing my normal stuff.
What kind of stupid human tricks do you do?
Mostly involving my truck. Sometimes I'll do, I really regretted this one when we did Chicago Hope and we helped, that one's brutal because we got to go underneath Chicago, three different layers and take care packs to the homeless. For every care pack, I did a chin up and we did 300 care packs. So I had to do 300 chin up. Now it wasn't consecutive. And I did basically, I think we did 270 is what it came out to be, is what we found when we went down there. So essentially I did 100, 170, I believe, or was it 180 and 70? I did chin-ups for 3 days straight, but what I could manage. But I'd still do 100 one day, 100 the next day, and it got progressively suckier. And that was my whole workout for the day, and I did it. But I've done a 1 mile truck push. I do that every year, usually for St. Jude. This year I did it for the Valencia project, I believe. I'll have to go double check. I do so many of these things. I'm just focused on the next one. I do a row of my truck, and when I row my truck, I've got my normal work toolbox on the back. My daughter is steering, and usually my son jumps in the back because the boys like to help me film. So I'll tug a war with a tow strap. I'll row with a TRX strap. I'll push, and then I'll curl. I'll use a TRX, and I'll have to lean a little bit to get it started, but then I'll actually curl the truck. And in my receipt folder on TikTok, I've got a lot of these stupid human tricks that I do. And it's kind of how because I have this ridiculous tendon strength that I've developed over the years that not a lot of people have, because I don't know if I just have an excess collagen thing. It might explain why my cartilage gets so spiky on my ears. It might be because they've been boxed so much. But yeah, I do all kinds of dumb shit. No running though. No running. I like my knees, but I'll do some of the same stuff. And I'm getting ready to do one for Heathen Holidays, where we get Christmas presents for the kids of veterans and pagans. Last year was ridiculous, and I'm hoping we do well again this year. We're going to have a feeling people are going to be on even harder times, and it's this weird sliding scale with the more people that can help, the less people need it, and then that scale slides the other way depending on the year. Or, as I like to say, the algorithm lets people see. So we'll see.
Yeah, well, hopefully better times are coming. Hopefully we're turning this thing around, and everybody can get what they need and all that kind of stuff. Because I hate to see people suffer. Even some people, when it's their own stupidity that gets them into problems, I still hate to see it. I'm a soft at heart. I understand a lot of the stuff you do, because I do a lot of that same kind of. I mean, I don't lift trucks and all that crazy shit, but I mean, as far as like helping people and stuff like that, I don't really talk much about it, but I've done a decent amount of stuff, and it really it gets to you sometimes, to see it. And like
it does.
Some of my
it's
most
what keeps me motivated in the training camp to do it, which is why
some of my most memorable stuff
and
like the most emotional stuff has been at the VAs. Seeing those guys when they come back and the stuff that they deal with, and especially some of the older guys. Like I sat and talked with some old Vietnam guys, who talked about how it was when they came home and how they were spit on and cursed and all this kind of stuff. And it was emotional, and to see now where everybody says, thank you for your service and God bless you and all that kind of stuff. It's beautiful, man. I'm happy to see that, and I just want to say to you, thank you and God bless you for all the work that you do helping people out. We need more people like that, brother. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, to get to know you. I'm going to give you the floor for the end of the show here to give any kind of plug, shout outs, anything like that you want to do before we wrap up.
Well, stay tuned for underwear with my face on it, coffee cups with my tea baggingness on it. People are doing all kinds of crazy stuff. They're sending me, they're getting ready to release for Black Friday. Again, I'm doing a tug of war of my truck. If you love me or hate me, you can help or hurt, depending on your viewpoint. That's I think one of the reasons why these training camps work the way they do. But I have a link in my bio on TikTok. You can get something for a care pack and hurt me. When it comes to this fight, I'm really excited for it. I'm taking it seriously. I think I got a few more good fights left in me. I hope Dragon brings his best. And I hope to see you guys there.
You guys want to go ahead and do your shout outs and everything before we wrap up?
Well, I don't know if Old Boy will show up because Corey Feldman probably won't be there, but actually, I think that's the same weekend he's going out, Memorial Day weekend. Isn't that when you're going out to Zach Bagan's place to hang out? That weekend, I believe so.
Probably.
But now, man, definitely, Tiger, I appreciate your service, man. And, I want to give a shout out to you and all the other vets out there and the ones that are currently in the military, and coming from a family that my dad was drafted for Nam. He definitely, he didn't get put in Vietnam. He got really lucky and ended up spending his time in Hawaii. That's where he ended up at. But I can tell you that he was a chemical warfare. He was a chemical specialist is what he was. And chemical weapons specialist, he, as he got older before he passed, he definitely, you could see the effects of all the stuff that he had smelled and stuff like that, over the time. But definitely we'll give a shout out to you guys, give a shout out to, anyone else that does charities. That's what it's all about, man, taking care of our fellow people. And we're all human, no matter what our views or standpoints are, we're still human. And I appreciate it, and best of luck. And maybe we'll have you back on, a few times before that goes down. And I definitely may look into going down there. That sounds fun, man. I would love to do something like that, just to be down there. And it's a great area. I lived very close to that for about 7-8 months. And
oysters.
Yep, I hear you. But yeah, man, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, we're gonna probably do a show closer to the pay-per-view, and probably have both of you on if you're willing. Just sit and
Yep.
just do a little hype up, talk shit kind of thing. It don't have to be a long show. Just something, just y'all talk shit a little bit, promote the fight again. And even after this, brother, anytime you got something to promote, or if you want to come on and promote something or something like that, just hit one of us up. Because I
Got it.
enjoyed talking to you, and we're always here. You know what I mean? We're real
Trying to
laid back,
recreate like
guys.
that weigh-in smack talk.
Oh yeah.
Fair
I
enough.
guess it's actually my question is, how can people find you on TikTok and stuff? What are you under on there?
Just look up Tiger Balm 5000. It's better than putting 5, but that's my 5th account I've been on. I've been pretty synonymous for a while. I've made a lot of frenemies and enemies. So if you don't see me and it's not Tiger Balm 5000, it's not me, and it's probably actually a Nazi pretending to be me. That's my life.
Well, there you have it, everybody. Let us know down in the comments section who you got for this fight if you've watched both shows. It's going to be entertaining. I can't wait to see it. I'll probably just watch on pay-per-view because I don't leave my mountain very often. I'm an old redneck. I like just hanging out up here. Nobody is, and it's hard to get me to go anywhere unless it's something I have to do. You know what I mean? But I'm definitely looking forward to it. So without further ado, man, you guys check it out on pay-per-view, or if you're in the area, go check it out there. And we'll have both of them on closer to the fight.
You forgot about me, asshole.
What about
Oh.
you?
I didn't get to say nothing.
Well, say something.
Okay.
Didn't you talk
Come on,
before
old boy.
Andy?
No, Andy was talking. I let him go first, Dick.
Oh, Andy talks so long, I lose track, man. I fall asleep when that fucker talks. It takes
Okay.
forever.
I'll take. Oh, thank you again for coming on here onto my show, Tiger Balm. I appreciate it. I can't wait till this fight comes on. I want to give a shout out to you for serving our country. And what you do. I have so much respect for you and our people. I want to give a shout out to Dragon for what he's going to do with this fight, because you guys are doing for charity to help a lot of people out. I want to give a shout out to all the veterans. I want to give a shout out to everybody who watches our show. I want to give a shout out to Drunken Oracle. There you go, Celeste. That being said, yes. And then I thank you guys all for listening to us here on We're Screwed, Misfit Chickladies and Motherfuckers. I hope you had a good night. And I'll let this gentleman finish what he was saying.
All right, well, then my shout out goes to Old Boy, since the diva feels neglected. I'm going to put my shout out to Old Boy, the princess. All right, love you guys. Appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you on the next one. Till we speak to you again. Love many, trust you, and do harm to none. God loves you, and so do we. Bye-bye.